Hello, this is Susan. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is an introduction into the audio you're about to listen to, which is a channeling from Kassandra. It's a little snippet of the sort of subject matter we cover in the Zoom groups. They're private groups of channelings that I do, not so regularly, but we do them when Kassandra asks us to do them, when she feels the timing is right. If you'd like to be a part of those groups, it's very easy. You simply go to my website, lovelightandtruth.com, and you send us an email and we will register you on the mailing list. You can also send us subjects you'd like Kassandra to cover. Obviously, when we do these groups, there's opportunities to ask questions. We also do often a meditation or an activation afterwards, which is also great. So I hope you enjoy the channeling and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now. And we are Kassandra. We come to this day in love and in light and in truth. This is acceptable to you.
Yes.
So we requested to do this communication in order to speak about or prepare for what is to come and what is happening. So first we will talk about the spiritual warfare that's happening and what you can do. There are many very brave individuals talking about what happened to them, their truth, their knowledge, the families they've come out of, the devastation they've come out of. And they're being very brave to come out and speak about it. You also have, and when we do these groups, we speak about these things. A lot of whistleblowers, as you call them, coming out. And there are so many they can't keep up with it. They don't have enough, how can we say, individuals to collate all the information that they are receiving. There are those that are still waiting in the wings to ensure that it's safe for them to step forward, because the persecution of any whistleblowers, they do this deliberately to scare the other ones. But what will happen and what is happening is that the fear of what's to come by this evil is far greater, right, for the planet, is far greater than their individual fear for themselves or their families. So that's why you have people stepping forward, and more will step forward. And we've spoken about this. We would encourage you. So spiritual warfare is a battle between dark and light. There's something you really need to understand about this. God is omnipresent. Christ consciousness is a collective consciousness that is in alignment with God's omnipresence. So it adheres to universal laws, truths, and knowledge. What you call the devil, Satan, Beelzebub, you have other names. Perhaps we won't say them, right? Because that will only encourage the vibration. But you understand what we're saying. These are individuals. They're not an omnipresent collective consciousness. So when you're dealing with these individuals that were originally under God's wing, in a way, understand that they are no more powerful than you. How they gain their power, how they have gained their power, is through manipulation, through fear, through control, through authorities, through fear, through blackmail. You name it, they've done it, right? But the only power they have is to use individuals to play out their work. Now, sometimes they are courted to individuals, linked to those individuals by way of entities, by way of possession. Yes, this can happen. absolutely, and it's done through ritual, and it's been done for thousands of years. And there are those that want to be, their desire, their goal is to be the embodiment of that evil. So the devil is evil, right? Evil. Devolve, in other words, into evil, right? That's the devil. To devolve from God. So whilst it's wonderful that you have so many discussing this, what you also need to discuss is how to combat it. And that's why we asked our daughter to do this spiritual warfare communication after the meditations on Saturday, because we didn't want that information out on this general, what do you call them, platforms, these social media or what have you, platforms, because knowledge is power in a way. And if, let's say, the evil, we're just going to call it that, if the evil that is running so many people understands your knowledge, then it can combat it. It's the same with the light. As the light understands more of the evil, it learns how to combat it. It's like you as individuals. When you understand more of what you can do about your empowerment with your own energy, you can do more, right? You can express it, you can protect yourself more, you can be guided more strongly because you have no fear around a certain level of evil. And so the best thing you can do is to arm yourself with knowledge of how to navigate this monstrosity of evil that appears to be taking over the planet. It's not really taking over the planet. It's actually being seen. And we have spoken about this, many have spoken about this. So whilst it looks like and feels like a heavy blanket at the moment, many of you are burdened, overwhelmed by what you're feeling, what you're sensing, what you're seeing, what you're understanding of the level of evil. But what we're saying to you is that because you can see it, understand it, it's presented right there in front of you. The only reason that's happening is because the light is so strong that the dark cannot hide. So that's a good thing. And the one thing that's missing is you, the individuals, understanding the power of your light, the power of your truth, the power of your energy, because it's that very energy that the evil wants. So we would encourage anyone listening to this to join this conversation. It's at the end of the meditation group. We asked our daughter to do this, which she calls Ignite the Light. Actually, that was our instruction. We instructed her to ignite the light in others. So
it's every Saturday.
It's every Saturday, yes. And people can easily find that. So if you want to be part of that, you can join it. But we would advise you to get armed with what is spiritual warfare. What do you need to do? And one thing you really need to understand is that the devil and the evil, and whatever name you want to call it, was also created by God. It's not omnipresent. The only way it has power is through individuals. And most of those individuals, most of them, are not willing participants. They've been manipulated, blackmailed or what have you. They're not willing participants. And really all they need is the tipping point of light, of love, and of truth to hit them so that they are encouraged to say no to that evil. Some would say, well, the church or religion has encouraged the evil in some way, because it says to you, go to a priest and you'll have your sins forgiven, and then on Monday, that's on Sunday, and then on Monday you can go and sin again. Come back Sunday, give us some money, say some prayers, and it'll all be finished with. And then you can go back on Monday and do it again. That's not forgiveness. When you ask for forgiveness, then there must be a willingness not to repeat. So that's not forgiveness, it's a game. It's like buying your way into heaven. At the last minute, giving all your money to the church and thinking that you'll go to heaven. That's not the case. You will still be held accountable for your actions. So those people that are holding this evil, in a pattern, in a way in their lives, a cycle, don't think they don't feel guilt and shame and, all of those heavy feelings, because they do. And part of the reason that many of you are feeling this heaviness is because those people surrounding you, whether you know them or not, whether they're your neighbor, your parliamentarian, your doctor, whomever, right? Those people are beginning to feel a conscience, the weight of what they've done. Whilst it was a game of, oh, well, I won't pay the price, now they're starting to realize actually they will pay a price. And there's a reason for that, which we will go into in the next segment of this conversation. So what we'd like is to speak on one subject and then speak on another. So with the spiritual warfare, your biggest ally is the truth, because the truth is the enemy of evil. When you want to release an entity or a demon from someone, perform an exorcism, right? You have to know details about what it is that's attached. And with every detail, it gets weaker and weaker. The attachment becomes weaker and weaker because the truth is being revealed. So the more truth that's being revealed by the whistleblowers and by courageous people, the weaker the enemy becomes. But this enemy won't go down without a fight. So what it's planned to do is this: to put you all in so much grief, your head spins. This heaviness that you're feeling is partly that. The confusion that you're feeling, a lot of you, can't remember. My head feels confused. I can't remember. Right? Turn off your internet. Your brains are being scrambled by signals, by frequencies that are not bioorganic to your physical body, and they're certainly not helpful to your spirit. Remember that the devil is one person, it's not omnipresent. And all its allies are one person. So therefore, you can overcome it. So what they plan to do is to create so much pain and suffering. Your head, your emotions are so scrambled, you haven't a clue what to do. And we spoke about this in the groups. When a person is in survival mode, in fear mode, in victim mode, what do? They listen to the rescuer. They listen to the person, they're scrambling. They don't know. Run left, right, the tiger's coming towards you. Someone screams from the left, come over here, it's safe. They go over there. So what are they screaming at you? Come over here, get this injection. It'll help you to live. Come over here. We'll give you a house. We'll give you a 15-minute city, right? We'll provide everything for you. You'll own nothing personally, but we'll provide everything for you. Trap once again. Right? So these people who are scrambling in fear, in chaos, in confusion, mind is blown by what they're going to find out. What are they going to do? They're going to run to the nearest rescuer, because victim, persecutor, rescuer is a triangle that belongs in the third dimension and the fourth dimension. And what you're wanting to do is get out of it as a mass consciousness, is to get out of that into thriving empowerment. So they are going to so say you're you're in your family, and suddenly 6 people in your family die. You know, or in 1 year, 4 members of your family die, near and dear. Each one of those people have anchored a part of you. So you suddenly feel unanchored. You see, what you're not understanding in unity consciousness, you're all one, you're all interconnected. And as you're moving, the planet is moving into 5D, this is becoming very apparent at the amount of grief that you feel, the amount of intensity that people feel emotionally. And what have we been saying? Spiritual, energetic, mental, emotional, physical is the way of manifestation. You're in the emotional plane now. And the emotional plane is it's like they want to trap you in it, with fear, with grief, with sadness, with guilt. All of those people who did those injections, don't think they don't know what's going on, because they do. Maybe they didn't know at the beginning, but they certainly know now. And don't think that they're not feeling terror at what they've done. And what happens when you feel terror? You want to cover it up. You want to pretend it didn't happen. You want to blame it on someone else. The victim becomes the persecutor. You know, they all go together. The victim becomes the persecutor. So it's their fault. They made me do it. Don't blame me. I'm not responsible. I'm just the victim. Oh, poor victim. In comes the rescuer. Poor victim. And then the rescuer is attacked by the victim becoming the persecutor. Once again. So, and many times the rescuer has been blamed for the very crime that the victim has committed, or the persecutor, because they move in and out with each other. So you have family members that have gone, you're feeling grief, you're feeling sad. But as we said, as you're moving into 5D, you're starting to recognize you're all interconnected. We have been saying this and preparing you for many years. What happens in Africa affects what happens in America, and so on. It affects your psyche. Your psyche is being affected by the fact that you have children being killed and abused for money. You have people's organs being harvested for money. So what they want to do, because you're at the emotional level of evolution, right? They want to create as many negative emotions as possible. So that's why the terror of losing family, the terror of losing your home, your money, your stability, right? So as we understand, you are all interconnected, you're all one. But in your family situation, say your parents, your friends, which could be soul family, etc., you anchor each other into the reality that you co-create, right? So you are anchors for each other. When you have, let's say, a number of those anchors leave in a short period of time, you yourself feel unanchored. the people that you're used to going to, the people you're used to talking to, the people that you would have relied on, the people that you loved, that loved you, that was a connection between, are gone. Physically gone. And so that creates an unanchoring. And so when you're unanchored, you're in a delicate position, because your natural instinct is to anchor to someone else or something else. And we would say to you, don't do that. Anchor to what you call God, universal laws, truths and knowledge, universal light, whatever you want to call it. There's been a campaign to make God a bad word. God's not a bad word. It's a very strong word. It has power in it. So when there's a campaign for you to feel, oh, I don't like all this God talk, because you've been, over the centuries, your ancestors and your own psyches have been told that God is all punishing. You know, you can't go against God. And being who you are is a sin against God. So if you are psychic in any way, or a healer in any way, gifted in any way, oh, it's a sin against God. How ridiculous. So the reason they've been doing that for centuries is because the word is powerful. We would say take it back. Like we said, take back your sacred symbols. They harness them. They associate them with evil so that you don't use them. So they're trying to unanchor you so that you will anchor to what they want you to anchor to, which is their regime. Anchor to God. Anchor to nature, right? To the trees, to the earth, to the water, to the air. Anchor to that. And bear this in mind. You are all intimately connected. Any thought that you put out affects the collective. So watch your thoughts. Any emotion that you put out affects the collective. We're not asking you to shut down your thoughts or your emotions. We're asking you to go into them so deeply when you feel it that you come out the other side. Because what most people do when they're feeling pain or thinking negativity, they shut it down. They squash it down. Food, drugs, sex, TV, video games, sports, medicine. They shove it down, turn it off. I don't want to feel it. I don't want to think it. And they may shut it down for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And what we're asking you to do is not to shut it down. Because if you actually feel it and go into it, well, it might take you a week to really go into it and feel that grief of that loss. Remembering all the things that person did for you. The fun that you had together. The things that you will miss. Talk to them. If there's pain from your past and experience that you've had, go into it with a trained person. Go into it. Because it might take you an hour or two in that session to release it, and you're free. It might take you 10 sessions to release it if you're a stubborn person, right? But you will be free. And when you are not shoving it down, see, when you shove it down, when you close it down, you keep its resonance on the planet and it's all sticking to each other. That becomes, and then people say, why bad things? Why am I attracting this? Because you're not healing yourself. Okay? You're saying these affirmations, but you're sitting on a mountain of fear and pain. What you vibrate at, you attract, not what you think. And people have been trying to tell you that for a number of years now, because it's moving from a thought field to a feeling field. And it will move once again, right? So you are all interconnected. So if you can get through what you're feeling in a constructive, clean way, that resonance isn't going to affect the people around you, because you're taking self-responsibility of it. You see, people think, oh, I can't do that because now I'm going to affect the whole. And that's what Kassandra said. We are saying to you that if you take ownership of it, you're not spitting it out on everyone else. But when you shove it down, you are going to spit it out on people around you. You're going to get angry. You're going to get resentful and envious and jealous and all of these things. So, yeah, you are then participating and creating that mess. If you don't want to do that, take responsibility. When you take responsibility, you are no longer a victim or a persecutor. So you are not allowing your thoughts and your feelings to affect others, because you've taken personal responsibility. And this is how it goes. Hey, do you want to go out for a cup of coffee? No, because I'm feeling really angry today and I don't want to project that onto anyone, so I'm going to stay home. That's self-responsibility. No, I'm feeling weak today and I just don't feel up to it, so I'm going to stay home. Or you come home from work and you've had a really bad day and you say, hey, I had a bad day. I'm going to need at least an hour to calm myself down. So please don't talk to me. Right? That's a responsible thing to do. But what do people do around? Oh, why are you angry? Oh, don't project that onto me. And they're jumping at the gun before even though you've been responsible. So communication is a big one in this. When you're responsible and you take ownership of it and you're working on it, you're not spreading it out. That's a huge difference. When you look at a tree, thank you for giving me oxygen. When you look at the water, thank you for bringing life into my body and circulating, everything around in my body. All your memories are held in water in your body. Your DNA is held in water. Yeah, your ancestral information is held in your blood. It's in water and liquid. So thank you, water. Right? Start to become aware of these things. Anchor to these things. Anchor to God. Don't anchor to the evil. And when all of this really starts, there's a die-off happening now, but it's going to be more intense. There are other things that they have planned. It's going to make it more intense. Why? They want you to feel the emotions. This is the spiritual warfare. This is where it's at.
Can I ask something?
Yeah.
Just, I would like to ask, like, definition of spiritual warfare. If I look, on Wikipedia says this is the Christian concept of fighting against the work of preternatural evil forces. It's based on biblical belief in evil spirits or demons that are said to intervene in human affairs in various ways. So anyway,
Yes.
What I wanted to say, it says fighting, but as I understand, the light doesn't fight, so
That's
it's how
right.
to stay in the light, right?
That's right.
That's
So
what
how
we need
you
to
stay
understand.
in the light. The warfare is they are fighting you.
Yeah.
They want control of your children. They want control of you, your mind, your purse, your money. Yeah, they want everything.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, they want your spirit. They're harvesting souls. Because let's say, anyway, we won't spiritual warfare is them fighting you.
Okay.
Right? You, as the light being, understand the truth of what's happening. Doesn't mean you fight,
Exactly.
physically fight.
Mm.
There are particular angelic realms that are God's warriors that will fight them. Yeah, there are. That's sort of like, okay, that's actually a very good question. There are weapons, one would say, alchemic weapons that are spiritual, that angelic realms use. They're like swords of light to really injure a demonic being.
Wow.
And this is something that's actually going on at this moment. You've got a lot of things going on because you've also got interplanetary fighting going on as well. And you have not just interdimensionals, which are the demonic evil realms. Well, they're the dark realms, but you also have the alien beings that are also not really friends of Earthlings. They're also very negative, let's say. Some of them are run by the demons and they do the demons' work. Some of them want to be independent.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of fighting going on. And the good thing is that a lot of that fighting is interfighting.
Mm-hmm.
So you will see that there are alien beings fighting demons, right, for territory.
Mm-hmm.
You have different fractions of demons, so different what they call themselves gods, because they're jealous of God, because they want people to think they're omnipresent. So the stupidity of it is this, that when people join, let's say, particular secret societies, we won't use their names because it will trigger the, so they join particular secret societies and they work their way through the initiations. Let's say they get to the 19th level and they start to realize, or they're being informed, they're slowly being sort of brainwashed and led to believe that this Satan, the devil, the evil is omnipresent. And it has this power because they are very psychic, they're very powerful. So it has this power, right? And the power is to convince those individuals that they are weak. They're nothing without it. And each time they want something, they have to go through initiation and then miraculously they get it. So then they're starting to feel more powerful. And that they have this omnipresence that's working for them. So then they strive to get to a certain level, right? A high level.
Mm-hmm.
So they believe that they will become godlike. That's their belief. Mm-hmm. But what we are saying. So you know when you see these movie stars thank you God, yeah, they're thanking their demons that they believe are God. And everyone goes, oh, they believe in God, they're Christians. No, they're not. When they use the Lord, oh Lord, thank you Lord, they're not referring to Jesus Christ Lord, right? Beelzebub, they're referring to someone else. Baal, you know? They're not referring to the Lord that you would think of or the God that you would think of. Mm-hmm. And they get to a point where they believe it's omnipresent. They also, unfortunately, go a bit mad because they're eating flesh and drinking blood and all of this sort of thing, which affects their psyche, yeah? Mm-hmm. So they actually begin to believe that they are God because that's the trick of the devil. Look at these people. Oh, I'm the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. I'm the reincarnation of Saint Peter. Jesus is not going to reincarnate, and neither is St. Peter or any of those. They've done their job. They've left their imprint. The biggest imprint in timelines ever was left by them, why would they come back? Come back in spirit, yes. Help as a part of the omnipresence, a collective consciousness, but not as an individual, no. So those people that are saying that, we don't know who they're working with, but it's certainly not the light, is what we're saying. Because the way that the devil works is to say to the individual, you're so powerful, you're this, you're that, you're the greatest, you're, And people want to believe that because previous to that they felt powerless. So they're fabulous for the devil. Fabulous. So you understand what spiritual warfare is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the biggest weapons you can have is Mother Mary and Jesus Christ. Our Father, Hail Mary. And your mind, your wherewithal, question everything. If someone in spirit is communicating to you and they're appeasing your ego, it's dangerous. If they're explaining to you, that's why sometimes we don't like going into past lives. We don't say a lot about the past lives to people, to certain people. We say to them, go to someone and revisit that past life for yourself, because we don't want to imprint them with too much information that it goes into their ego and they suddenly think they're Cleopatra. It's dangerous. You are who you are right now, which is a byproduct of those past lives. And sometimes you need to go into them to heal and to release yourself from certain curses, belief systems, different emotional resonances, injuries, corded to entities. There's different reasons why you would go into those past lives. Absolutely. It's a good thing to do. But to stay in that past life is not a good thing to do. To recognize that if you were Cleopatra, if you were, one of the Essenes, that's because you're holding information. You're meant to hold information for this time. And you can access that information through going into that past life. But it doesn't negate who you are in this lifetime. It's empowered who you are in this lifetime. It's made up who you are in this lifetime, which is probably why you don't believe a lot of the things that you're hearing, because you already know the truth. So you will, a lot of people have had to clean up these past lives, not only to clean up timelines on the planet, to clean up ancestral lines on the planet, but also to reveal the truth of that past. Because the cleaner, you see, the past and the present are one. So some of you have been urged to go into the past to clean it up so that the truth can be revealed in the present moment. But it's not for you to get stuck there in an illusion of how grand you are. Take the ego away. When the ego comes into it, you've got a problem. So that's what we'd like to say about that. Do you feel we've covered it quite well?
Yes, I just have one question. If you want to say, about the sacred symbols that you say we have to take back. Just example, I guess this is 666.
Yeah, the symbol of creation, yes. And what is the 6? If you look at the 6 and the 9, right, you've got the yin and the yang, the male and the female. The 6 is actually the female. It's the creator. What are they doing right now? They're trying to destroy it, aren't they? The feminine principle. There's a reason for that too, which we'll speak about in a minute. But all of those symbols, yeah.
Okay, just to have an example.
Yeah.
Okay. So will you go to the next subject?
Yeah. So then we will leave you in our love and our light and our truth and our blessings. And we thank you so much for allowing us to share this and giving us the opportunity to communicate.